Well, here we are in the Battle of Kiev. Looks like we are going to have to cut off all Soviet forces behind this city, my friends, if we want any chance at a victory. The fact is that the Soviets have this area heavily defended, and I mean very heavily defended here. A bunch of different units holding out. We're going to try and, of course, push through, but the idea being we want to try and break through with the tanks, cut off this road, and then taking the city itself would be a lot easier. So I think we are prepared for battle. Let's go ahead and get set up. Hold on a second. Set up some trucks. Well, we've already got a point there. Let's drop one right here. Just a little bit of extra supply. And that should be more than enough. Well, wish our boys luck, my friends. If you'd like to, in the comments, I always like to hear other people's strategy for this. You know, how would you approach it? Would you come in from the north and from the south? Because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to meet in the middle here at Logvitsa. I hope it works. But we also have to consider we've got to take Poltava as well as taking Kiev. So this could get quite interesting. Quite complicated, frankly. Take a look here at the army group itself. I just want to see what different attacks we could carry out. So a river crossing might be useful for some of our units here, although it looks like we've already broken across. I think we just need to be extremely aggressive here and break through to Poltava. So let's do something like this. Maybe just some suppressive fire initially. I'm going to hold on for now. I might even just do some standard attacks. So he's quite strong. He's not. We're just going to go for the weaker enemy. I think it's that simple. We'll attack here, even if it means falling back a bit. There we go. Also allowed us to take some prisoners, but hopefully this will get us a bit closer to victory. And assuming we can get this guy right across, yes, we can. I'm just going to move him over here. Look at that. An additional attack. Although it looks like we could probably do more damage to these guys. I'm thinking it's probably best if we go ahead and attack this guy, follow it up with an additional attack. No, you know what? Let's gamble on this guy here, and I'll push these guys across the river. Beautiful. I'm not going to send him over yet, but in time we will. For now, we are going to hold with our Italian cavalry. We should consider getting these tanks up as soon as possible, of course. So you know what? Although then again, I don't want a tank defending this area. So what I'm going to do now is just get them ready for next turn. And then, of course, we'll unleash them on the enemy. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Hold the phone, guys. We can cut off that road, send the tank through, and beautiful. All right, I didn't anticipate that. Push on through, and now we've got a nice beachhead here. This is looking quite nice. Maybe an additional push east? I don't think we're going to be doing much with these guys, to be honest with you. We're going to have to focus entirely on the Kiev salient here. And just try and make the enemy as uncomfortable as possible, even if it means standard attacks like that. Again, I'm pretty much ignoring their tanks in an effort to cut off all the infantry over here. Pretty much just shut the enemy down entirely in this sector. Here we go. Let's try to go for the Bryanska fuel dump here. I mean, it looks like a fuel dump to me. Next turn we'll be able to break right through there. And over here we can certainly continue to be quite aggressive with our troops. Maybe another attack. I mean, we've got a lot of infantry here, quite well trained. So I say we just throw everything on the line here. Right through with the Wehrmacht. Yes! Our boys are running them down. And just want to keep that attack on these frontal units. You know, trying to completely destroy them, sort of work their strength down to a point that they can no longer withstand our attacks. Let's keep it up. Let's grab the 79th Infantry Division. We might have to wait a turn, actually. We've got some very strong units here. Unfortunately, we might have to wait a turn to bring them up. So for now, start attacking. We'll, of course, bring the boys over in anticipation for next turn. Now, locations like this, I wish we could attack, but they're well entrenched here. I'm not going to take the risk. So let's just go for these guys here. Let's bring this infantry unit in to make sure we've got them all trapped into Kiev. You can see that the forces they've got in Kiev are quite strong. I'm probably still going to try to push through, but some of them might be elite forces that we're not going to break unless we cut the roads off. That's why it's so important to keep on pushing with the tanks. Sehr gut. Actually, I want to almost entrench him. Gotta wait till next turn, but there's no point in keeping him out here. He's not going to be attacking any of these units. We're basically just holding this particular zone until our guys can get behind them there. Yeah, I should try to also move these units. Yeah, we can't even attack there. Wow. So since it's a major river, interesting. Okay, I didn't actually know that. Over, like, smaller rivers, you can attack. You're obviously going to take a bit of a loss in defense, or in offense, rather, because it's much harder to attack across a river than it is to attack across land. But here, you can't. So at least we know that, which means that our focus will remain entirely on this plan of ours. Okay, I think that's good enough. We do have one bombing run, though. We could start going immediately for Kiev, but I don't think that's going to be wise. I think I'd actually rather damage the troops near Poltava. So, yeah, totally useless there. Completely useless. The cavalry got away without any damage whatsoever. Alright, folks, but we did cut the road off here, so hopefully that's going to help us on this push. Let's end the turn, see what Ivan is up to. Also, let me know in the comments down below if you prefer me to do these full videos where I play the entire battle, or do you want me to cut it up into parts? I really would be happy with either, but obviously the parts are somewhat better for me from a YouTube sense. Then again, maybe not. I'm starting to think that these, like, full battle videos actually end up getting more views in the end anyway. So just let me know in the comments which you guys prefer. Also helps me, the YouTube algorithm, regarding the comments, folks. There we go. They are definitely entrenching there. They know what we're going for. They know that we're trying to slice Kiev in two here from behind. I mean, that's just what's going to happen here if they don't immediately set up some sort of massive defense. Let's get on that damn road, but we also have to close off that southern highway. It's not enough to just close off this northern one. So things are looking good, but I don't want to get complacent. Lost 2 CP due to stragglers, damn it! And also, we've got some enemies cutting us off here. Well, we're kind of cutting them off. It depends on how you look at it, really. I'll bring the tank in. And actually, I should have gone for the attack here. It would have been an instant kill. But I'm hoping that our guys can mop up these Soviet troops this turn, or very soon, anyway. And again, we need to focus on the targets at play. The targets at play are, of course, Kiev and Poltava. These are places we have to take. As for this northern area, not so much. So that's why I'm being a little more reckless here. And as a matter of fact, I think we can get that kill. Oh, maybe next turn anyway. Push forward. Might as well destroy that unit. I'm just hoping that they don't cut off any more of our supply areas here. Supply zones, rather. Come on. Wow, they actually held. They refused to leave Bryansk. That's pretty amazing. Now, we are going to move this unit back so that she can actually get into supply. Actually, he probably could have actually stayed there. He'll still be in supply. But what about here? Now, here we could potentially cut the enemy off even more. But I think it would probably be wiser to just keep on pushing here. As you can see, this gives us an opportunity to push right through once again. And this northern road is almost entirely cut off. Now, it is entirely cut off. I mean, at this point, the Soviet troops have been totally smashed. Sending in some additional troops just to finish them off is just the icing on the cake here. The other cool thing I just realized is we're going to be able to put our tanks in supply, since we are, of course, meeting the infantry here. That is just such a cool added bonus. Here's our opportunity to completely overrun them. It looks like Bullet's definitely seeing some Soviets in the wire, guys. He's freaking out. Here we go. And we're still pushing through from Chernigov. It's looking nice for me, man. Not as much damage as I expected. Nonetheless, I am still going to try to cause a breach as early as possible. We can rely on the southern attack, but I'd rather rely on both attacks. If one fails, we'll always get the other one through. Even if they're entrenched there, I still want to attack. Still want to make that push, and here's why. Destroyed another Soviet unit. I really wish we could push this guy forward. Unfortunately not. It's okay, though. Let's bring additional forces, to the front. I was going to check to see if we have reinforcements, but it looks like absolutely not. We don't even have an icon for reinforcements in this battle. So what about the southern area? Let's see if Poltava is now within reach. Not quite. I had a feeling that they would try to defend it as much as possible. Let's push on through with our tanks. You gotta take those kills when you get them, when you can get them. And I think we get a follow-up attack. Yes, we do. Even at the loss of some armor, I am going to keep on pushing through. Our goal is Poltava. Now, we do have to start being careful, because obviously if the enemy were to cut us off here at the mouth of the river, that would be a major problem. And I mean a major problem. So I'm going to try to keep these guys off our back as well. Even assist in taking out the enemy right there. I mean, the fact is, if we can open up multiple fronts, that's only going to help us. Push right on through. Look at that. Absolutely wunderbar. That's our light German unit. And they've got actually a Stug 3B in that group. So it'd be quite useful against enemy tank units. But even against the enemy infantry, it's performing really well. Unfortunately, I think we're about to lose this German infantry unit, and he's out of range of our general. We could push our general forward a bit, so I'm actually going to push him about right there. It's going to have this guy out of supply, unfortunately. But I think these guys are going to have to cross over here anyway. So here we go. I want to see if the supply actually runs through here, and it does. So this is actually quite a nice area, as long as we can hold on to it. Alright, that's going to be it for this turn, I believe. No point in attacking there, although maybe there is a point in attacking south of Kiev. Especially since we're about to be out of supply anyway. We might as well. Let's make it happen. So we can't attack across major rivers. I wonder if we just went for a mass attack, what would happen, but I don't think I want to risk that. I'd rather save as many of our men as possible and just cut Kiev off. But if it comes down to that, that's what we'll do. We'll do a mass attack. Here we go. Who are you supporting? Let us know in the comments below. Soviets or the Reich? I think we've done everything we can. Yeah, just about. All right, here we go, folks. Trucks available and some air attacks. That's right, we do have those 2 air attacks. And since we have some additional trucks, it does look like we need some additional trucks over here. Let's do that. Which is interesting, because I would think this would be the last place we would actually need supplies, but these guys are falling out of supply. It's just a fact. So you know what? We are going to use the air attacks against that enemy airborne division. Actually did a little bit of suppressive damage to them, so not bad, but it's not going to take them off the field. It's not going to make it any easier for us to attack them either. All right, folks, here we go. Oh, they are already trying to cut us off. This was my nightmare. This was my nightmare. Yeah, nothing we can do about that. Scattered our poor infantry unit. But he pushed as far as he could. Gotta give it to him. All right. The battle for Kiev continues. And look at this. We are so close to being able to completely cut them off here. Although, as you can see, 5 enemy units located over here, so they are completely trying to encircle Kiev from behind. Make sure we don't get in here and don't cut them off. So this is why we need our tanks to work extra hard for this push. Look at that. We've even just taken Prilukia without basically any fight whatsoever. Let's see if we can get over to Lokvitsa. Because if we can grab any supplies from the enemy, that's going to help us. As for this infantry unit, I just need them to do one thing, and that's to pick up the prisoners, essentially. We will, however, try to challenge this enemy mechanized corps. Let's go. If they're going to cut us off, we're going to cut them off in turn. Now, if you guys saw that, this is the SS Das Reich division. That's why they've got those black helmets and, of course, a Stug 3B. Elite experience. Although, I don't know if this is totally accurate. At this point in the war, the SS actually was not particularly elite. It was really in the late war that they got all of this really great gear. But it is what it is. And the fact is, we just took the enemy supplies here. That's going to help out quite a bit. Maybe we'll even go for the Bryansk HQ. Good work, son. One final attack. Go for it, boys. A Grenadier division to finish things off. Pretty beautiful. Of course, we still have a lot going on here near Poltava. I'm still afraid we're not going to be able to take her. Just look at how the enemy is holding this area, seemingly stopping us from being able to outflank them in this zone. Push forward with the infantry. And are those partisans that they have back there? Poltava militia. Soviet militia units here. They really are getting desperate. But this is a good sign for us. Let's push on through, folks. Now, I just wanted to attack them because I knew we'd get a kill. And while this battle does end after a certain number of turns, I don't think that we're really too close to the end. We still have 7 turns left, so we can stand to destroy a few units before we just dive right in. Very good. All right. I hope we can get a replacement unit in there to hold off this Soviet unit, but we can't help but attack. Take those prisoners. We have to be extremely careful here because the enemy can easily cut us off. So So I might dedicate this tank entirely to just destroying that enemy and keeping the enemy off this side of the actual river. I think that's pretty much going to be our job here. Yep, just about. Another breach. Well done, boys. We might as well exploit this advantage. Alright. It's a shame we can't go and grab those prisoners. I mean, I could grab them, but that would mean leaving Kremenchug open, and that's not going to happen. One thing we can do, however, is bring the 9th Infantry Division over, and we'll actually end up using them to assist with this push, either towards Poltava or towards good old Kiev. Again, I'm going to check supply. We are still in supply. The only guy that's not in supply, the 100 Leichte unit. Well done, boys. Cuts them off at any cost. Grabbing that particular barrel right there, that supply drop would end the battle, I believe. At that point, we should be able to take Kiev without much of a fight at all. Nice! Look at that suppressive fire. And even with that, we're unable to break through. Let me see, with the HQ, if suppressive fire with this unit would assist or a feint attack. It might not. I mean, that's how tough these damn airborne units are. I'll do another feint attack. See, at this point, we should be able to do quite a bit of damage. There we go, forcing the enemy back. We are fighting for every square inch of territory within the city here. Whatever works. And I believe we can actually drop some guys from the force pool. Nope. Nobody in the force pool and no reinforcements for this battle. What you see is what you get. I'm going to try to move this guy south to assist with our other front as well. I think we can hold for a bit, though. '56th Infantry Division, it's your turn to shine! Iron crosses for the lot of you. I consider this guy a major threat, so I am going to carry out the attack, just to make sure he doesn't attack us later. And since he's stuck on this side of the river, he can't retreat. He's stuck here for good. We can actually even push a unit through to Kiev. But first, let me see if this guy can get here. He certainly can. And he can finish off the mechanized unit. But let's keep in mind, this is only one of the highways to the city. Nonetheless, a very nice assault there. And let's see what the supply situation is like here. It's, could be a lot better. This guy's completely out of supply, and I think it's because he's in that swampy area, because the tank is in supply. So, I don't know. Push him over here. I pushed him farther out of supply, shame on me. That's okay, we'll make up for it next turn. We're doing pretty well, we're on schedule as far as I can tell. Trucks available. You know what? Let's hope that works. What will they do? I think they're still going to try to cut the road off. That seems to be the default AI position, but look at that. The units around Kiev are actually running out of supply. It seems that that southern road is not quite enough to bring in supply to the city. Although they may have just repaired that bridge in an effort to get some supply in. Let's see, I just figured out, since we're pushing the front over here, that's why they're not getting any supply in Kiev proper. So at this point, guys, we want to push right through. We are so close to being able to just call this a phenomenal victory. So close! We're like an inch away from touching it, but at that point we can rush right into Kiev, I believe. I'm just doing whatever I can to cut them off, even going into the swamps at this point. Not a good place to be, but it's going to get us closer to victory. Just weaken these guys to the point that they're going to serve no use to the enemy. Destroy them? Oh boy. If we had another unit to replace this guy... Let me see. Damn. This would work out really well. Because we could cut the guys over here north of Kiev off, but I think they're pretty much screwed anyway. I don't see them escaping the stranglehold. Let's see what we can do over here near Poltava and try and make our final breakthrough. Gotta go for the enemy soft spot. I'd love to attack Poltava directly, but again, we've got to wait for the perfect time. And that may require destroying all of these enemy rearguard units here. Guy is not quite out of supply yet, but very close to being out of supply. And again, we'll keep this guy off our back just to get that supply moving in this area. But to take Poltava, I see this as being a little more complicated than we initially anticipated. I thought it was going to be the easy city to take. Now I think Kiev is going to be the easy city to take. But let's keep chasing them, folks. While we can get some kills, we might as well go ahead and stack them up. And I think that's going to be it for this turn. One more push, yeah? Why not? That's right, we still have the SS Das Reich division. We might as well completely liberate this area. I hate to use that word in this context, but there are quite a few enemy prisoners we could pick up. Pretty much just throwing those guys to their death. All in an effort to cut off enemy supplies. Nothing in the force pool. Alright, folks, let's keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully next turn will bring beautiful tidings. That's right, we have air attacks. Might as well launch them on Poltava. Yeah. Why not? Hell, we might as well attack. If it means damaging them even mildly. Let's do it. This is purely in an effort to cut them off. I know we're going to run out of supply, but I just want to see if we can cut off Poltava entirely. So look at that. We have completely starved the city. Completely starved it. I don't think they can even put up much of a fight. So at this point, let's just try and march on through. As soon as they see us approaching, these guys will drop their weapons and surrender almost immediately. Look at this. Beautiful. And this is when it's almost just like a game of dominoes. You just see them dropping one by one. Fortunately, we gotta make sure that we don't get cut off by units like that. But look at this. Moving right through, getting that supply boost. And of course, making sure the enemy doesn't get any supply boost whatsoever this way. And we will try to mop up as many enemies as possible. No wonder this comes from the Operation Barbarossa DLC. With attacks like this, where all you're doing is a massive blitzkrieg, it certainly makes sense. I almost am tempted to bring this tank over to assist with Poltava. But I know better. I think for now, we really have to keep our focus on Kiev herself. We can always reassign the attack and go towards Poltava, although it is quite far. I just think we need to be reasonable here. All right, pushing through to Kiev. Look at that. Even now, their defenses are up. So let's try the feint attacks again. There's no easy way into Kiev, it seems. Get in some proper Wehrmacht troops. Yeah, no matter what we do here, we are definitely going to take losses. But you know what? Maybe it's worth it once we start causing massive suppression like this. There is a chance to break through. Look at that. You see what I'm talking about? It's not going to make a huge difference, but now we've closed off or separated two parts of the army, which I think should cause some panic amongst the enemy. Yeah, I'm not even looking at the possible damage we're taking here, because at this point, if we just keep the attack going, there's nothing the enemy can do. Look at how they're completely cut off here at Kiev. Ooh. Enemy stragglers. Well, we went ahead and did the Commissar's jobs for them. What can I say? Let's bring in the SS Das Reich division here. Hopefully he can completely eviscerate those troops. I believe he can. Although I don't think we're going to be getting any supply next turn. It's not always about the supply, though. Now for Poltava. Guys, this is a city I want to hold so desperately. But I get the feeling that it's going to be a lot tougher to hold than we can imagine. Especially with all of these marauding enemy troops near us. Let's make the push. Actually make it with one of our weaker units first. And what I'm going to do is immediately pull this guy back. And replace him with this unit. The 125th Infantry Division with the LEFH Towed Artillery. Which I think should be very useful in getting into the city. There we go, guys. Look at that. It's also going to get supplies to the rest of our tanks. And that should help us out big time. I don't want to waste units there. So let's make sure that the tanks make the attack here. Make sure to completely cut the enemy off. Already starting to work on the supply situation here. And in fact, we can bring this guy back. There's no need for him to starve at this point. Get out of that area. Alright, you know what? I typically wouldn't go for an attack here, but since the enemy is going to get pretty badly hurt either way, I'll go for it. Might even bring this tank in to do some additional damage. Although, you know what? Let's keep things simple. Let's bring in the cavalry as well. We'll use them next turn. Bring in the tank for now, and let's make sure that this Soviet unit is destroyed, or that we at least have somebody defending the bridge area. Because the enemy could completely cut us off here, and that would be problematic. Look at that. Chase a few more down. I'm not leaving this area at Kremenchug. I think the enemy would like us to, because even though they're out of supply, they could cut off quite a large portion of our army. I am excited, my friends. It's looking like maybe we get a good old-fashioned victory soon. But I don't want to count my eggs before they've hatched. Is that the saying? Or count my roosters before they've hatched? Either way, I don't want to count those yet. We'll see what happens. Anything could happen in Unity of Command 2. Alright. Now, of course, they can take Poltava back. If they do, then, of course, this is not a victory, and we are going to have to retake it before the turns are up. Our sacrificial lamb did get killed there. We had to give the enemy a few German prisoners. But look at that. See, they've already started kind of counterattack. That could become problematic here at Poltava. So let's just make sure to fight back. And these are partisan units. These especially. Not concerned about them. Our men should make short work of them. Sure enough, they did. Let's send in the Italians. Italiano. Gonna destroy that first, though. It just pretty much reduced their chances of being able to counterattack and take Poltava. This way we're holding the road. I think this is the right approach. Can't stop this armor, baby. Look at that. They have nothing, guys. So this is, of course, the entire goal of Unity of Command 2, and war in general, is to, of course, stop the enemy supply entirely. And I think we've certainly done that here. We have certainly done that here. Unfortunately, Kiev still remains ever elusive. I don't think it's going to be a simple attack. It's going to cost the lives of many men. Right now, we're just going to remove any armies around Kiev. And now we can start focusing on the city herself. Look at that. The defenses are insane here. Fight through, men! So close! Alright, we've got Western Kiev. We still are working on the center of the city. And it's almost turned into a Stalingrad here. The way the enemy's holding on is incredible. I think they've also destroyed the bridge, if I'm not mistaken. Here's what we'll do. We'll drop bombs. Didn't do a thing to them, so they are obviously very heavily dug in here. Let's try and break through. Maybe the prisoners will tell us how to get into the city. We shall soon see. So I think we might just have to wait for the supply to completely give way there in the city. I mean, they're not getting any supplies, but they still have units there with, like, bullets. Like a single bullet, for instance. They do still have some rounds, which is why the units are not suppressed or haven't left. So that might be the ticket here. But since we completely own the highways, it's only a matter of time, I believe. What are we up to? Turn 6 of 10? Yeah. You know, the enemy could, of course, make a comeback. Let's just hope that doesn't happen. Even their airborne units are running in terror. It is a lovely, lovely sight. Let's pick up those prisoners. And there we go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. We can actually take this SS unit next turn. Well, first of all, we can continue forward, completely annihilating the enemy as we move. But what we might be able to do is bring these guys to the east just to make sure nobody tries to take Poltava. Of course, now the main goal is Kiev. Let's see what happens next turn. And, of course, now they have absolutely no supply whatsoever. No counterattacks at Poltava. I love it, boys. I love it. It's looking pretty nice. Here we go. Even our 2-strength unit is doing pretty well here, so hopefully this is a cakewalk. And actually, we can go ahead and grab the supply right there. But first, let's overrun this unit, take the city herself, and wipe out any Soviet resistance that remains. And I think we get maybe a few medals, yeah? Not so bad. Not so bad at all. Might as well try and take as many prisoners as possible, of course. Those can be used to help us out later on in the campaign. And if you guys enjoy these Unity of Command 2 battles, make sure to let me know. Again, it's a little bit of a different kind of strategy. I think a more technical strategy than what we usually do. But I do think it's a pretty fun and very well put together game. Alright, we'll be lenient with the Soviets. We'll end right there. There are air attacks. We don't need to use them. Victory is ours. Now, to be fair, they do have 3 turns to turn things around. No pun intended. But I don't think that's going to happen. At least I hope not. Okay, there we go. Let's end the scenario, friends. So, Axis victory. It looks like we got 2 out of 3 stars. Enemy KI 52. We had 54 prisoners taken as well, which is wonderful. And you can see just kind of like the information regarding the battle itself. Really fascinating. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching. Again, if you want to help us out, it really does help when you like and comment. That's the most important thing. That's what gets YouTube to put us up in the search engine. And subscribe if you're new to our channel and you want to see some more strategy. If you don't like strategy, then, you know, probably not the channel for you. Thank you, folks. I'll catch you on the next one.